I'm Chris Matthews, and let me tell you what I think we got right and what we could have done much better when we sold our business, which was called Hogarth, and we sold it to the Engine Group. I think more than anything, to begin with, it was a decent business. We had 1.2 million adjusted EBITDA, we had 25% margins, we had 16% compound annual growth. Could have been better, but it's a fairly decent business to start with, so that was helpful. The big thing we got right is we avoided what I call the legacy trap. So the legacy trap is where you have businesses that were famous once and the name is still around, but they're not really going anywhere. And we could see that we built our business so far, but if we wanted to avoid the legacy trap, we really had to move it on much further. And after thinking about it and looking at various avenues, we couldn't see how we could do it on our own. And the only way to do it would be to sell the business to someone and then with their resources and our resources, move it on together. The thing you have to do, if you are to avoid the legacy trap, in my opinion, is stop believing your own PR. So you spend all day telling clients how wonderful your firm is, and after a while you begin to believe it. You've got to get a cold, hard dose of reality in there. And the fastest way to do that is to look at the Kingston Smith annual survey numbers, and in particular, look at the productivity number, because that's a cold, hard measure of what the marketplace thinks your business is worth. And if you're not in that upper decile, your business isn't quite as wonderful as you think it is. So we avoided the legacy trap. What else did we get right? We had absolutely bulletproof numbers. They were on time, they were accurate, and I think very importantly, over the years our forecasting got better and better and better and better, to the point where if we gave a growth forecast, we met it. And since we were selling our company on forward numbers, so we were negotiating in about July, I think, for December year-end numbers, we could hand on heart say, yeah, we're going to make whatever it was and deliver it. Because promising a number and then failing to deliver it will kill your deal. Those were the things I think we got right. What could we have done better? Taken it much more seriously, much earlier. We did a little bit of arithmetic after the event, and we worked out that for every 1% increase in sales, we would have made an extra £125,000. So a lesson I learned in selling the business was the minute you instruct advisors, they go. Their job is to go out and find the very best buyer for you. And they're so quick at this, because that's what they're paid to do, they're so quick at this, you only have time to make cosmetic changes to your business. So before you even get close to instructing advisors on the sale of your business, you've got to make sure you are running your business as if for a sale from a much earlier point. So look at everything you do through the lens of how will this help us grow the business for a sale? And I think we could have done a bit more of that, frankly. I wish we had sorted out staff rewards much earlier. So we took the decision we wanted all staff, from long-standing secretaries up to much more commercially important people, to get something out of the sale. And we spent a long time talking about how much they should get, and we spent even longer figuring out the mechanism, and we finally settled on a mixture of cash and share options. Sorting out share options just before a sale, looking at the tax implications, looking at the accounting implications, looking at the legals, it just ate up more time and more money than anything else we did. So we could have improved on that. What else could we have improved on? We were pretty good at sales, but we didn't have a proper sales machine in place. So we didn't have a proper lead generation program in place. We just did it on an ad hoc basis. I've learnt my lesson. So today we're in November, and I can tell you what our firm's going to be doing in February next year to generate leads. We couldn't do that then. And if we had done that then, the business would have grown at a much faster pace. So I wish we'd got that right. There's one more thing that actually only revealed itself to us properly in the due diligence. And that is although the business was growing the top line and growing profits really well, and we were winning some very, very big prestigious accounts, what we hadn't noticed is that our old-fashioned core client base was gradually shrinking, and the average size of retainers was coming down. And we should have realised that, because everyone's business becomes commoditised, clients learn to do what you've taught them, there are more competitors, and we were distracted by the success elsewhere and failed to see this erosion of our core business base. And it took an external firm of accountants to come in and look at the numbers and explain that to us, and that was mildly shocking.
My name is Court Clarkson and I'm from Magis Partners, and my top tips for maximising the value of your client portfolio in the sale process are to firstly have conversations with your clients that validate the assumptions you're making about them. That's what you think you'll get from them in the future, that's how they feel about you, and that's also about the potential for growth that you have with them. Secondly, make sure that they have validated your client plan. So have a client plan and make sure it's actually approved by them. And then thirdly, pull this together in a way that it backs up the story that you're telling the purchaser about why they should believe what you're saying about your future growth. If the client agrees it comes with so much more weight when they evaluate your business.
So I'm Mark Slattery, Director of Kingston Smith HR Consultancy, and we help lots of businesses who are about to get themselves ready for sale, particularly around the people in their team. So my top 3 tips in terms of what purchasers are really looking for from a business. First of all, they'll look at your culture and whether you've managed to build something that's exciting for people to want to join, that enables you to motivate people while they're there and retain them. Secondly, they're going to look at your key players, whether you've got them locked into the organisation and what kind of expertise and experience they bring, so that if you want to exit the business, there's still a management team in place. And finally, as part of looking at how locked in that team are, they're going to want to look at things like your pay and benefit structure in the organisation, whether there's some coherence to it, whether it makes sense, whether it's linked to things like equity and bonus schemes that help you lock in, or whether you've just got something that grew organically over time.
Hello, I'm Mandy Merrin. I'm a partner in Kingston Smith Corporate Finance. We specialise in working with marketing and media companies, helping them prepare for sale and then sell. One of the first things a company needs to consider when it's planning to sell its business at some point in the future is its reputation and culture. Reputation and culture is absolutely key to maximising the value on exit. It's all very well being a profitable company, but if nobody's heard of you, then it's much harder to make potential buyers interested. In point of fact, if your reputation is very strong, you'll find that buyers come and find you. One of the key areas for buyers is the quality of the client base. Obviously, they want to see lack of concentration in any one client, and they want to see a good length of relationship with most clients and a good senior relationship. Any buyer looking at a company which it's thinking of acquiring is going to want to know who's going to be running the business after they've bought it. Most buyers want the vendors to stay and deliver the earn-out, but they'll be looking at the second-tier management team in order to see the quality of those. Having a good strength and depth is absolutely crucial, having good client relationships amongst them, and also it's really important that they have some sort of skin in the game. Buyers really like to feel that some of their earn-out that they're paying is going to the people who will be delivering in the future. Any buyer, when they get serious, is going to do due diligence on the business, and this is where good housekeeping becomes absolutely key. If they come into the business and you can instantaneously produce financial analyses, client contracts for all your clients, and generally exhibit good governance, it adds a real feeling of comfort and strength to the business proposition. And it gives buyers a lot of comfort that they're buying a serious business which is actually going to deliver what it says. With very few exceptions, valuations are based on profits. Normally, in the marketing services sector, that's a multiple of profits, and that multiple can depend on a number of things. It can depend on how attractive you are to the buyer, it can depend on how rare your business offer is, and it can depend on the key performance indicators for your business. For example, a high growth business with a high operating profit margin is likely, not inevitably, but likely to attract a higher multiple of profits than one that is making a low margin. That's because overall it's a more attractive business. Selling a business can be very distracting. It can even be bruising. There's a lot of effort that goes into preparing for due diligence and dealing with intrusive questions into your business, and there's a lot of hard-edged negotiation towards the end of the process. It's important throughout all of this to remember that the end game is to have a working relationship with the buyer that is positive going forward, and that's where we come in. We can help remove the issues of negotiating and having difficult conversations, leaving you free to run your business and continue to improve its profitability.